going to bother you on your vacation, girl. If anyone
I
deserves a
appreciate that.
vacation, it's Carrie Scott. So there's no
I
bothering
appreciate
her on vacation.
Thank you.
So good morning, everybody. I'm very excited to be here with you today. We're going to talk about Luxury Magazine. So I am going to go in and share my screen, and we're going to walk through the process of an agent submitting an ad. We're going to talk about deadlines. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. Okay, so to get started, the submission form did open up on Monday, April 6th for the 2026-2027 edition of Luxury Magazine. Now, the submission form will close on June 15th, okay? Now, I am going to tell you all a little secret. I'm going to close the form on June 15th. That's what I'm going to tell everybody, but I'm going to leave it open for a few days thereafter, okay? Because you are going to have agents that are going to run in and say, oh my gosh, I forgot to submit my ad. So instead of you having to reach out to me to open it back up, I'm just going to quietly leave it open for a few days thereafter. Now, if you do have an agent that's coming to you, yes, that's a very top secret. If you do have an agent that's coming to you and says, my listing's not going to go live until, June 18th, but I really want to get it in the magazine. I just want you to give me a call. Give me a call. And let's talk about it. We can hold a spot open for them. We'll find out which ad size they're taking. They can even at least submit the property address and don't do all the other stuff, and we can hold their spot and slot it in. But we always make exceptions every year because we do want our agents to get as much in there as they can, but we can only push it so far. Otherwise, the magazine is delayed, okay? So June 15th should be a Monday. If I am correct, it is a Monday. So you'll see me quietly leave that form open the remainder of the week. And then I do have to shut it down unless there's someone that's reached out to me that I need to do something for another day or two. Okay. All right. So the edition is for 1 year. Okay. It goes July 1 to June 30. That is always the edition year. And by the way, this is our 10th anniversary of Luxury Magazine, which is pretty cool. 10 years in the making. So when an agent submits an ad for Luxury Magazine, that is their ad space for the entire 12 months, you guys. This isn't you pay every month, agent. You don't pay every month. You pay one time for your ad, and that is your ad space for the entire edition year, okay? Throughout that edition year, they may have a price change. Well, they can submit that by the 20th of every month, and their price change can be put into play. Maybe they want a photo swap. Maybe they want to change the property description. They can make changes to their existing ads one time a month, okay? Now, when that ad sells, when that listing sells, we can put a sold banner on it, but they got to let us know. So that would be a change, right? They would need to submit the change, and we can put a sold banner on it. And then when they get another listing that they want to get into Luxury Magazine, we can take the sold listing down and put their new listing up, and it doesn't cost them anything because they've already paid for their ad space for the entire year, okay? But the listing has to be sold for us to take it down and let them replace it with something different, okay? Or it would have to be withdrawn from the market, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so Luxury Magazine is printed and direct mailed, and that first print run always goes out in July. The second one goes out in February, okay? We also have a monthly email campaign that we do for the digital magazine. The digital magazine acts as our current edition of the magazine once we go to print. So over the last 10 years, Luxury Magazine has built an organic, high affluent email database of over 12,000 email addresses. So we also email Luxury Magazine once a month. And then we market it digitally across our social media channels, right? So it goes on the company page, it goes on our regional digital marketing pages and our offices. All right. So they get a lot of great advertising for their ad space. Okay. Now we also have custom covers that we do for our agents. And this is important. Agents have the ability to have their own edition of Luxury Magazine. So what does that mean? That means the cover of the magazine can have their headshot, their contact information. We do it beautifully with a nice banner. They can use our master image for the cover, or they could choose one of their own listings that maybe they want to feature on the cover. But they do have the ability to get a custom cover magazine. Maybe they want to have 10 or 20 copies of that, and that's the magazine they take when they go out on luxury listing appointments, right? Or they meet with a luxury buyer. So that kind of looks like their own magazine, which is really super cool. So the custom cover is also an option. Now, listing ads and custom covers all need to be submitted by June 15th, okay? All right, so let's go into the submission form, and I'll show you how you can walk through with an agent on how to submit an ad. Does anybody have any questions thus far on what we talked about? You can unmute, keep it open. Anyone have any questions? Nope. All right, cool. I'm going to go in and share my screen. All right, let me know if you guys can see Schmidt Resources here. Everybody, oh, awesome, perfect. So I am in Schmidt Resources. You guys know this screen. I just clicked on the marketing square and got right in here. Next, I'm going to click into the global luxury square, okay? And you're going to see this big banner at the top, 2020-26, 2027 edition of Luxury Magazine. This is all live linked, so I'm just going to click on that. Okay, now we went ahead and gave them some more info in case they need to review it, right? You know, update existing ad space. We wanted to talk about a listing submission guide if they have any questions on how they should submit that listing. We also have a distribution and media kit so we can remind them how Luxury Magazine is advertised. And our agents can also earn complimentary ad space. They may have an advertiser, like maybe a luxury car dealership or a custom builder or something like that. They can actually earn complimentary ad space. So if any of your agents come to you regarding that, you can direct them right over to me or any one of our luxury ambassadors, okay? We also wanted to give them visuals on what the ads look like. So the first one is a quarter-page ad, and you can see that we gave the character count. And there's one image in a quarter-page ad. In a half-page ad, this is what it looks like. There's 3 images. In a full-page ad, we have 4. In a 2-page spread, we have 6. We also do a 4-page spread, which has 9 images. So they can actually get a visual of what their listing ad will look like. And then you'll also see the custom cover, right? So this is what one of our custom covers looks like. Again, we put in that beautiful banner. The agent's headshot is on there, and then all of their contact info, okay? So when they want to submit an ad, we've got the button right here at the top. So submit your ad here. This is really easy, okay? You guys are used to being in job forms, and I think our agents are even becoming more accustomed to being in job forms. So it's just about filling out the fields. So are you a seller or a buyer's agent? So we allow our agents to put ads in of homes that they sold representing the buyer, as long as they got permission to use the listing agent's images, or they went and took photos themselves, right? But they can put not just listing ads in here, they can put a sold in that they represented a buyer. Agents can also submit listings they sold. You know, the agents want to have as much of a presence in Luxury Magazine as they can, because we direct mail this magazine in the markets we serve. And we do that because we view it as a listing tool. So we want our agents' names in there with their listings, whether they're active listings, sold listings, or a buyer that they represented that they sold, okay? And we'll put a sold banner on the ones that are already sold. The active ones don't have that, okay? So they need to acknowledge if they're the seller or buyer's agent, what their name is, right? We're gonna ask for the ad submission. What's the street address, city, state? What's the region? What's the property price? We want to link to the listing in here. We don't want MLS links, you guys. We prefer, they do it from their agent Moxie website. They do it from coldwellbanker.com. They do it from their localized website, not the MLS ever, okay? They'll need to do the listing status. Is it active, sold, or pending, right? The property description goes in here. Who's going to proof the ad? You know, some of our agents have assistants or marketing people, right? So, or maybe they wanted to go directly to them, but we want to have the information put in there as to who's going to proof the ad. And then we want to go ahead and have the files uploaded, the photo images. If it's a quarter page ad, they just need to upload one image. And again, we reminded them here how many photos are needed based on the ad they select. Okay, so we're going to want them to upload their photos. And then they're going to pick which ad they want. So a quarter page ad is $275. Half page ad is $375. Full page is $450, 2-page spread $800, 4-page spread $1,600. And again, this is a one-time ad price. Okay, they purchase their ad one time, and it is their ad for the entire 12 months. Okay, so they also have their agent custom cover, right? Which the cost of that is $500. That's where they would select the custom cover here as well. Okay, now something to note about this, if some of our agents do a lot of ads in the magazine, unfortunately we can't bulk load the ads. So what that means is if they're submitting 13 ads, they have to go back in here 13 times. Each ad needs to be submitted, gone through the entire process, and then it gets sent to us, and then they go back in and do it again for the next ad, okay? And I think you guys can understand from a clarity standpoint, how would we do 13 ads with property descriptions, photos, all this other stuff? It would get totally confusing, right? So we want to make certain that each ad is submitted with that property address, the photos are attached to it, the description, the price, everything we need, and it's super clear, okay? So they would select their ad size, and then they would simply check out with their credit card information. And once they hit submit, that gets received by us, and we're starting to build their ad to send them a proof. Okay? Make sense? Yes, sir? Okay, good. All right. Any questions? Hi, Don.
Hey, Tracy, thanks for your time today.
Yeah.
You were pretty adamant about not using the MLS link. Is that because it would be like well, it wouldn't be a live link in a print form, but is that because it will take them to their web page? I guess my question is, why are we so adamant about not using the MLS link? What's the reasoning behind that?
It doesn't present as luxurious as we would like.
Okay.
It just
now,
doesn't.
Do you actually post that, like their website link or anything like that in there?
Yep. So what we do is the photo images have to be uploaded. We don't want the link for the images. The photos
Right.
have to be uploaded because they have to be high resolution images for us to print, right?
Right.
But in the agent's ad, we live link their listing ad in the digital edition. So someone can click on the ad, and it goes right to their listing where the consumer can see all their images, all of the details. And we don't want to send them to an MLS.
No, absolutely not. And that's kind of what I thought was the reason behind it, but I just wanted to clarify that. So yeah, thank you, Tracy.
You're very welcome. And those photos that they upload, everyone, they do need to be high resolution because we are printing this magazine. You know what I mean? And we really want to make certain that those images are crisp and clear because they will get flagged through the flight check before we go to print. We can check them too, and we typically can get that back to the agent to send us a high-res image. But if it flags in the flight check, we may need to redo that ad to a smaller one because we don't have enough high-res images, right? Those images are super critical. Now, if agents miss the deadline of June 15, and say they got a listing in August, and they're like, gosh, I really want to get this into the magazine. we close the submission form June 15th, and then we reopen it July 20th. Okay, we close June 15th, and then we reopen July 20th, because agents can submit their ads into the digital edition. Okay, once a month by the 20th of every month, they can submit a new ad. They're going to get the digital advertising, they're going to get the email campaign, but the magazine will not go to print again until February. Okay, makes sense? But agents can submit ads every single month. We are constantly updating that magazine every single month, and we are advertising it every single month. Okay? All right. Other questions? It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Yeah. And then when you get your luxury magazines to your offices, you guys, I typically send them to hubs across each region. I'll send out an email to all of you when the magazines have been shipped to the offices with the key contacts and who they are. You always want to make sure you have a couple of them in your office, right? For agents to grab and go on listing appointments. You know, as consumers come into our offices, the magazine is displayed, right? We're reminding our agents that that's a great, inexpensive, but high impact advertising option for their listings. All right, so I'll make sure you guys know when the magazines have shipped to the offices and how you get yours to your office, okay? All right, good. Any other questions? Oh, and one more thing. The biggest question I get from you guys is when are we going to receive our magazines? So here's what happens. We have to print the master edition. We do masters across the entire company. So Michigan has its own listing on the cover that looks like a Michigan listing. The Ohio and Michigan is in the front of the magazine, right? So Michigan's master has a Michigan home. The Michigan section's in the front. Ohio has a home representing Ohio that we pull from the magazine, and the Ohio section is in the front. And then Florida has a home that's from Florida on the cover, and Florida is in the front. So we do all of those master editions, right? So they all print separately, because when we direct mail in the markets we serve, they're getting their region specific magazine, meaning I'm not going to ship the Michigan cover in Florida and vice versa, right? So we have to print all of the master editions and all of the custom covers and direct mail the magazine. Then we ship the magazines to the offices. Okay, does that make sense? So typically the offices may not receive their magazines until end of July, early August. Even though the magazine goes live, July 1, we'll launch the digital and all the campaigns, the print may not arrive until after that deadline. So like end of July, early August, because we have to fully execute that direct mail campaign. Okay. We also have the ability to direct mail magazines for our agents. So our agents have custom covers. This is only for an agent that does a custom cover. For example, we have an agent in Florida that does a custom cover, and she asks us to print 1,000 magazines for her. And she sends us her mailing list, and we direct mail those for her. We print them, package them. They look fantastic. We direct mail. The agent pays for the $500 agent custom cover. She pays for the cost of the magazine. Now, we don't know what the cost per magazine is until the magazine is built with the page count. On average, it's about $10 a magazine. So she pays because she's getting the bulk. Remember, the agents get the advantage of going in on the big bulk print run versus having to just print 1,000 for them, right? So they take advantage of that 40,000 print, right? So the agent pays for the custom cover, the cost per magazine, and then the postage to mail it. And we do all of that for them, okay? So if your agents are interested in a custom cover and they do want it direct mailed, we will do that. It doesn't matter if there's only 25 magazines they want mailed. We will do that for them, okay? 10 magazines mailed, 25, 1,000, whatever it is they want. And then she always orders extra magazines for her. So she'll typically order 1,000 for us to direct mail, and then she orders another 50 for herself for the year, okay? So those are all options for our agents if they're interested in that custom cover, All right. Well, I've spent 20 minutes with you guys, and I know I don't want to hold you over. Do you have any more questions that I can answer? No? All right. Do you know who your luxury ambassadors are? Yes, we got Kirsch Rule in Michigan, Danielle Ottomer. You got me. You got Carla Nix. You got Becky Borchi. There's 5 of us. Okay. So you can reach out to any of us for Luxury Magazine questions. You can come directly to me, whatever you would like to do. Okay. And thank you for your help and support in Luxury Magazine. We're really proud of our flagship publication. We're happy to celebrate 10 years. And we've had a lot of great success stories over the years of agents attracting buyers from Luxury Magazine and attracting sellers from Luxury Magazine. And some of my most favorite stories are when agents walk into a showing. They're showing another agent's listing, and our magazine is on the coffee table. And then they make a point to somehow, however they can do it, let them know that that's our magazine. And obviously we don't solicit sellers that are listed by somewhere else, but there's always ways to have nice conversations. So lots of good success from that, and we're really proud of it. So thanks, you guys. Reach out if you have any questions. Carrie, thank you for letting me host BlueSync today. That was truly a pleasure. So you guys have a great day, and I hope to see all of you soon, okay?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.